that sort of vibe.
If you want, up to you. I like to keep it quite close, but
Yeah.
it's up to you, man. Whatever you're comfortable
How
with.
close?
That's
Wow.
really good. That's really good.
You got like snorkel styles.
Yeah, they're just very fucking quiet.
Are they?
in mics, but yeah.
Okay.
But no, it looks good now. So
Yeah,
that's
good.
really right.
All right, cool, perfect.
So yeah, man. No, it's cool. Some of those tunes you were showing me just then were fucking sick.
Thanks, man. Yeah, there's a few more.
Yeah.
I've got to show you, but you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
Not just writing
So
non-DMB stuff for a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of my questions was actually about like your music and like the way you've collabed with people in the past. And
Yeah.
obviously with those tunes you just showed me, you know, collabing with those guys.
Yeah.
How does that kind of stuff come about? Like say for example that dude. I don't want to mention it in case you don't want to. But
Yeah, no, please go ahead. Like honestly.
But yeah, how do you like come
I'll be
across that and like approach them to work with you and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, dude, we can definitely mention all that. When
Yeah.
does the interview kick off?
Oh no, it's starting right now.
It started.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
all
Fair
good,
enough.
all good.
Oh, nice. I thought we were doing like an intro or something like that.
No,
right?
just keeping it
Kick it
chill.
off straight. It's
Yeah.
very casual. I like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Well, the way I met George, the rapper, funny enough, I was just walking my dog around the park around my house, and he had a really big song in UK at the moment called Childish, which was blowing off over there, and it got signed to Universal, did quite well.
Yes.
And so I was really hooked on that track. I was getting played on, One Extra BBC.
Yeah, okay.
And so I got hooked on it, and I literally just put it on my story, and I tagged George, the artist, in it.
Yeah.
And wasn't expecting anything out of it, and he just replied to me. He's like, "Wow, man, where's this?" And I was like, "Oh man, I'm in Perth, Western Australia."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Man, I've always wanted to come out there. Like, what's?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool. I'm originally from London," and we started chatting back and forth, and I started sending him some tracks.
Okay.
And like a mixed genre, all sorts of different things from like soul to hip hop to UKG, to drum and bass. And he hit me up and said, "Look, I really need someone to like remix some of my tracks." I'm like, "Wow, yeah, cool. Like, hit me up for sure." And I really liked the track Childish.
Yeah, okay.
And then he told me, "Look, it's part of Universal, so I'll try my best to to get the stems for you." I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, Sony Publishing. I'm probably not going to see anything. So a week went past, and out of nowhere, I'd get a message from him with a Sony link, a artist link. And I'm like, what's this? With like a username and password. And it was all the stems for Childish.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. So I did a drum and bass remix of that.
Okay, cool.
More of like a dance floor flavor. And hasn't been released yet. We're just trying to figure out how we're going to how we're going to release it, and what kind of schedule we're going to put out first, whether we're going to make a mixed genre EP. Because what happened is he ended up coming to Perth. We were chatting for like 8 months, and he ended up coming to Perth. And so we hung out for a few days. We actually made about 5 tunes together, all from different genres.
Yeah.
Whether it be UK garage or like a grime flavour. Soul.
That's sick.
Made 2 drum and bass ones, and
Yeah.
so we were really productive when he came through.
Yeah,
And it just kind of like charged me up to get back in the studio
Nice.
a lot. So yeah, that's how George came about, and so we're about 5 or 6 tracks down together, and just got to put the finishing touches on them. And
Okay, man. That's
all
sick.
the-
They're sounding sick, so.
thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah,
That's
I'm
cool,
looking
man.
forward to putting that out actually. So
Yeah.
So one of the hardest things for producers, as you probably know, is actually just finishing a track.
Yeah,
like
for
everyone can start a track and make loops, and you can listen to it for like weeks or months.
Yeah.
And I heard an interview with Sub Focus Nick recently, and he said that he falls into this problem quite a lot, where he'll get bored of his songs and he will over listen them.
Yeah.
And he'll overhear them and basically just kind
Think
of
that
drop
shit
off.
after a while, or yeah.
That's it. So I had that in mind. So trying to finish tracks quicker is like part of my process now.
Yeah.
I'll try to as much as I can, but
Yeah,
there's always
no.
something I want to change.
Yeah, I get you. I definitely, I've heard stuff like that as well from other artists that are, like bigger artists and stuff, and that are just kind of doing it more as a full-time thing. And they're saying, like, I've heard people say, like, they'll get in the studio and then start a track, and then if they've got something going, then they don't leave until it's done, because they're worried that, like, if they come back the next day or a week later, they're going to not have that same energy.
That's true, yeah.
Which is true, but it's hard.
It is hard to do.
Hard to do it all in one day or something like that. I've got a tune right now that I've been working on, and it's taken me like probably like 3 months just to get to where, like, I think it's done now.
Yeah.
But it's taken a while just to get there because I'm like, I just kept going back and forth.
For sure.
I'm like, I kept changing the chords, kept changing the bass line and everything. And like, so I just had to eventually just stick with an idea and be like, yeah, let's roll with that.
You have to commit to it after a while, yeah. Part of my problem is really, going back and changing a lot of like major parts, whether it be like bass line melodies, leads, counter melodies, these type of things. I'll always like, oh, maybe I should have. It even got to a point where I was even changing the entire key of the whole track, which means just starting from scratch, really. So that's just one thing I like doing recently is just working with, just like challenging myself. You work in different chord structures that you wouldn't normally work in, like I'm working like B minor and E major seventh and things like this, and it like more complex chords are like more interesting to me now. Like,
for sure. I've been diving heavy into the chord stuff with a lot of like the liquid kind of side of things because I've been making I make a lot of liquid quite a bit. I find like it comes a lot more naturally than other stuff, and I love messing around and writing chord progressions and everything. But then I was looking into it a bit recently and doing a bit more research because I was like, why do some of my chords sound like the tracks I'm making, like they sound cool, but then kind of coming across a bit more sad than I want it to be. I want it to be more like introspective and cool.
Sure.
But then, so I did a lot of research and I started looking at like a lot of tracks that I liked, and I was like comparing them, and I found that like a lot of these kind of artists like Red Eyes to Perez to like Saddle and whatever, like a lot of these guys are writing in like a minor Dorian scale. And which I was just straight minor, and so it's interesting. But
that's right, adding overtones with like different keys, obviously. I mean, all you're doing mathematically is adding overtones to the chords that you're doing, and basically just making them bigger and stretching them out across the frequency spectrum a bit more. So whether it's replacing a synth with another instrument completely just to do the top end part of the chords, works really well, and it kind of gets you out of the mundane process of listening to the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
whether you have a piano as your bass, maybe some guitars doing some like counter melodies in between. But literally like copying and pasting that structure into a different synth, maybe like strings or like a cello or violins or something, and having that as your top end, literally just bringing it up an octave. And taking out root notes and things, and taking out the root note and bringing it down like a like a third or fifth or seventh or ninth. And,
I always like to fuck around and do some inversions and just see what I can come up with, and
that's it, man. That's part of it. Yeah. That's where I got the name Diminish for my producing.
Oh, right.
It's really just learning diminished chords at the time. Like it's really just like having your chords in place and almost like putting a mirror on your root note and seeing what it looks like behind, and then playing backwards behind the scale. It's really cool things. Like
smart.
That. It just makes me. To be honest with you, I'm still learning, and
were you ever trained like piano or anything classically or anything like that?
Yeah, man. So when I was about 8 years old, my mum gave me piano lessons.
Cool.
She bought me a small keyboard that I still have to this day. I think it's an antique. It's made by Yamaha.
Oh, right.
And it was an electronic keyboard. Sick. And I would basically just be playing along to, because the internet wasn't around then, so I was playing along to like TV shows. Back growing up in London, so it would be like EastEnders or something like that, just learning the melodies on my like one finger playing. And so by the time I was like 8, 9, my mum paid for lessons, so I had a lady come over, and I'm really grateful for that, to be honest. Throughout high school, when I came to Australia, I was doing music classes here at Willerton, and that was one of my favourite classes, honestly. Nice. It was basically like you have about 20 keyboards in the room. Everyone's sitting at their own keyboard, and everyone, the teacher can listen to everyone at once, and you can also listen to each other. So you could pair up with the person next to you.
Yeah.
So I would do the drums, and the person next to me would do the chords, and I'll go back and do the leads. But to be honest, we'd always get told off because we would do nothing that the teacher would tell us to do. Basically, it's like, oh, you need to, make a rendition of like a Beatles track or a John Lennon tune. So instead of doing that, we'd just make like an R&B beat or an EDM type track and just get told off. But it was the only opportunity that we had. So no, I really appreciate times like that.
No, that's cool. I never did any like proper training when I was younger or in school, but like looking back, I wish I did.
Yeah.
Because at the time, when you're young, you're not really always paying attention to like future opportunities. But I was always heavy into all types of music, and I had a keyboard and I had a guitar, electric guitar, and I always fuck around, but I never like. I was so ADHD as well, so I was like, I would never like fully sit down and learn properly. I'd just be like, oh, just fuck around.
That still hits me to this day. I really wish I learned the guitar. Yeah. And people say it's never too late, of course, but that's something I really wish I picked up earlier on as a kid.
The guitar just never made sense to me, like in terms of the structures of the chords and like the way you would put your fingers and stuff. The piano makes a lot more sense to me for some reason.
Yeah.
So
for sure. No, I've had a couple of keyboards in my life, and I've just I've always kept up with it. Like these days, I will literally just YouTube like jazz chords, and I'm watching like church and orchestral players play pianos and with a camera above the keyboard, and I'll literally just play it in slow motion and just try and copy what they're doing. And you kind of figure out cool new ways of writing chords, and then you bring it down a few notes and see what happens, or up, and just play with the scales, and it just makes things more exciting rather than working in the same chords, the BGA chords all the time. So
for sure, man. So you're from the UK. When did you go? Or did you come to Perth by yourself, or did you move with like your family?
I moved with my family when I was about 15 from London. So I grew up.
So you've been here for a while.
I have been away for a while, man. So it was good, man. Moving over here, it was a bit of a culture shock, of course. Especially with the music side of things. I came over with a bunch of rave tape packs and things that I grew up on in London, and. Hearing everyone just into like hardcore grunge and rock over here, it was a little tricky to like transition across. Okay. But, it's funny, like everyone eventually got into some sort of rave type of music, no matter how hardcore their music style was. It would be really bizarre, like people like listen to like NoFX or System of a Down, Metallica, Tool, these types of people, and then love happy hardcore piano stabs, like the most like cheesiest piano stabs, and then they'll be playing that, and it's like, okay, cool. So they do like that kind of stuff, and that went throughout high school pretty much, just trying to move people into my old rave style, my sound that I brought over from England, basically. So
nice.
But it was interesting, a cool transition. I always remember back because I remember like some kids like taking the piss out of the music I was listening to, but then years later, after school, I'd see them in the line waiting for a gig I was about to play, and they'd be like shouting out my name, and I'll be like, I remember what you used to say.
I get it. I still have people like, even in 2025, where it's like people that are like friends from school and stuff that I still chat with, and they're like, I just don't get drum bass or whatever, or any of that stuff. And it's just wild. It's wild to me that like a lot of people just don't go out of their comfort zone and like look for shit, for new music, for new stuff.
That's it. Everyone had their own style that they moved into. A lot of people like the more trashy style of drum and bass, like heavier drum work, more industrial style drum and bass. Other people like the liquid. So everyone has their own sort of like taste in mind. So it was fun seeing high school friends on the dance floor. And you're just thinking back, like, I remember when you used to give me heaps of crap for this music, like, but it's just one of those things, man. Yeah.
So what? Obviously, the UK being a massive influence. was there any like kind of acts or something that you listened to at the time that were like kind of influencing your early sound?
Man, pretty much like growing up in London, you're exposed to so much of that early rave, early acid house, early jungle, early urban jungle, and breakbeat hardcore and this type of things. It was quite the norm over there. So trading tapes and things in school was quite common to do. Walking to and from school, you would hear people playing like jungle beats going past you. So you was always like kind of exposed to it in some way.
Sick, yeah.
And of course, like I was stealing tapes off my older sister, who loved rave, and so I used to steal those tapes and just go to sleep listening to them. I had a small Walkman as well because pirate radio was popping off in the early 90s in London. So
Nice.
the only way to really listen to it is to have a radio or Walkman with a tuner on it and find a place in your house where you could get the reception. And these guys were literally just putting up aerials on top of buildings, breaking into buildings sometimes just to put an aerial on the top and distribute for 4 or 5 hours.
That's crazy.
Set up 2 decks and
carry some vinyls with
that's
them.
That's it.
Shit.
Yeah,
that's wild.
It's crazy, man. So I grew up with a lot of illegal radio shows. With like Cool FM, Kiss FM at the time, which was illegal, and there's
that's sick.
Heat FM,
and such an extensive like musical culture in the UK. I've spoken to people about this before, and I'm like, I've thought that it's so interesting how the UK especially has taken rave culture and rave music and gone a bit like just kind of accepted it, I guess is a way to say it. Like it's gone to radio, like they've got their own channels like all over, all types of channels for that, where where like the main, or what's the way to say, like the bigger population or the general people kind of have all heard this stuff, even if they don't like it or something. That's separate, but they've all heard it. They all know about it.
That's right. Yeah.
But you look at something like Perth, where it's like almost no one knows about it. And I think it's good because I think it's like what it looks like in the UK is like that being around for so long and being on the radio, being played and stuff like that has kind of created an acceptance, I think, for like the general public.
That's it.
But over here, it's not that much. It's like, other than the current trendy shit.
I mean, you didn't think about it at the time, but when we were 11 and 12 walking to school, we would crank rave tapes on the way there, walking for like 30, 40 minutes to get to school. And,
we did the same thing in Cape Town, but I mean, that was back in like 2005, but same shit. We would all walk with our phones, like the loudest Nokia we could find, and just play some shit.
we had a hack. We thought we were quite clever. So you get earbuds, and you'd cup it in your hand and turn into a little speaker, and just turn the volume up as much as you can. So there'll be the one resident holder in the group who just holds a speaker at this height,
exactly.
And while we all just gather around, walking to school in like -2 degrees while it's snowing. But growing up on house things like 2 Unlimited and Snap and the Real McCoy and SL2 Slipknot, these types of people really, and Prodigy of course, they really like paved the way for music style. Also at the time, there was quite a large Indian community in London, and so they were bringing that old Indian sound into new style of music. So there was a lot of remixes coming out, and a lot of new producers popping up who still play out to this day. And people like Bali Sagoo and things were really huge in London because they were taking like big sonic beats and mixing it with like classic Hindi vocals. And so everyone was getting down because, like with kids growing up in the indie communities, you always like bound to hear your parents play some old tracks from like the 60s, even back in the 50s, all that like 70s, 80s. So you kind of get exposed to it, and then suddenly hearing massive beats like driving those vocals. It's like, it was a cool transition at the time, So, and of course, like it spread the culture a bit more at the time. Everyone was getting into it, no matter what your background was. So it was a good time to be in London actually around
Yeah, no,
91,
it sounds sick,
93.
man. Yeah, such a such a good like culture, I guess that's brewing and just for creativity as well. Like it seems
Yeah.
like such a good spot to be in.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's
And
cool.
like the only way you'd be exposed to it is really like, through friends or
Mm.
like cousins or older brothers and
Yeah.
sisters. And like I said, the pirate radio
Mm.
shows that were playing, and like I said, I'd take my Walkman upstairs and put it
Yeah.
on the windowsill
Yeah.
and spend ages turning this tuner dial like really carefully, like half a
Till you
millimeter
hear
at a time,
something.
until you hear like
Yeah, yeah. That's
and
sick.
you're like, oh, sick. And then and so I'd fall asleep listening to that. So I
Yeah, yeah.
grew up on it because I loved it so
Nice.
much, and it was like nothing I heard before. So coming to Perth when I was 15, I was really into the all ages rave scene. Yeah, so during the school holidays they'll do
Okay.
all ages raves here. So that's
Yeah.
where I kind of found my spot inside.
And when
here.
did you like start doing MCing side of things? Or was that what came first for you? Like was
The
it
first thing that came first was DJing actually.
Okay, cool.
So I had like a really crap DJ deck set
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
with belt drives and stuff in my room at home, and even one of the CD players was literally just a PlayStation 1.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even have a screen connected to it. I just memorized all the
Wow.
controller sequence to get to where you got to play a track. So
wow.
whatever it took, really, like we were just like kids
Yeah.
basically. So
I think PlayStation even had like a tracker software at one point
it
where
did,
people were
yeah.
making shit on that.
yeah, that's the thing. So
That's great.
so in terms of that, yeah, it was really basically when I was like 15, 16, getting into the all ages scene and started writing lyrics to things. Just influenced by all the vocalists I grew up with
Yeah,
in
yeah.
London, listening to, and so Perth was lucky to have really good DJs and MCs. We were pushed in the foreground of drum and bass and rave music thanks to people like Greg Packer, who was pushing it in 1992, 93.
Yeah.
He was the first person in Australia to play jungle, and
Wow.
and influenced by it. And so
Yeah.
Perth was really lucky to have people like that. So by the time I came around, there was quite a well structured drum and bass DJ fleet that were playing weekly. It was only a few of them, to be honest, but they were so good at what they did, and the MCs at the time, people like Craig Interjector and Jay Ripper, who was called Method at the time, and John Roughcut,
Yeah,
R.I.P.,
yeah.
and Scott Assassin. These four guys were just like
Yeah.
influential to me, and they were smashing it at raves, these all ages parties I was going to. So one thing led to another, and I'd go home, not being able to sleep when I came back, just
Yeah.
writing lyrics and just listening to beats in my earphones.
Yeah.
And then I started like just practicing it out with friends, like in the car or whatever,
Yeah.
on the way to a rave. And one thing led to another. We used to sneak into clubs at a really early age, like 16 or so. And Metro City, every Friday night, back in 98 or 99, they had a drum and bass night every Friday called Caliber.
Yeah, cool.
And the way you used to sneak in is you had to get there before 9 o'clock, before the bouncers got there. And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but we used to
That's
sneak up the fire exit,
Oh, right.
basically the stairs to the left of the building. Someone would make it in, someone over 18, and they'd open the door for us upstairs. Like a few of us would just run in.
Yeah.
But it got even worse. Like we'd run into the club room, which was called the Sky Bar at the time. It doesn't actually
Yeah.
exist. It's a very, very top room of Metro City. So if you think the top room is the highest, it's
Yeah.
not. There's actually another level above called Sky Bar, which
Okay.
they closed decades ago. But
Yeah, right.
anyway, we used to go up there, and part of the process was
Time out. What's up? Sorry to cut off the video like that. The reason why I've interfered right now is because I actually had a bit of a stuff up with the camera footage. Unfortunately, there's no more footage from this point on, which really sucks, but technology sucks and this shit happens. So, yeah, I hope you're enjoying it so far, but the rest of the podcast will only be audio. And yeah, really sorry about everyone that, was looking forward to the rest of it and looking at our beautiful faces, but hey, the main content is what we're saying. So yeah, moving forward, audio. Hope you enjoy it.
Oh man, it's just crazy telling the story. Like I'd hide behind the couch there for about half an hour, 40 minutes. So weird. And then until people started, walking into the place, then I'll just pop up and then just enjoy the night of like really cool like styles of drum and bass. And then it got to a point where we're doing it like quite often, and my friends would just talk me into, jumping on the mic and just ask them. I'm like, ugh. And then they'd do it for me. I was always like a shy kid, man. I never wanted to be exposed or in the limelight or anything like that. Even to this day, to a degree. So I just jumped up with a guy called Adrian Sardi. And he was DJing at the time, and I was like, "Oh, do you mind if I like MC your set?" And I remember him giving me like a side eye and being like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then I did it, and everyone came to the dance floor, and it was awesome.
Fuck
and,
yeah, man.
I started sneaking into more clubs and more events and festivals and things, and just finding my way to the side of the decks and just waiting patiently until I asked the DJ. And one time I asked a guy called Diamond D, who was running a large drum and bass collective called Loaded Dice.
Okay.
And they were doing festival gigs all around Perth, and I managed to sneak into a club called Fire and Ice, and
Cool name.
Actually, it was called Frostbites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Frostbites, and so it was. I think it was the old Lily's. What are they called?
Lily's Love Shack. Lucy's Love Shack.
No, not Lucy's Love Shack. Tiger Lil's.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. So next to Magnet House now.
Right.
So anyway, I snuck in there, and Ed Rush and Optical were playing.
Oh, it's sick.
And I snuck in, I asked them, and they were like, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And I was only like, 16, turning 17 at the time. So I got on the mic for them, and the promoters really liked it. And they said, oh, we want you to come back. We'll start booking you. What's your number? I didn't tell them my age. I didn't tell them I snuck into the club. But it kind of went from there. Like anything, whatever it took to get
booked for a thing,
to be a part of it, man. And to be amongst it, and it was really just a passion for the music, and so I started sneaking into clubs, sneaking into festivals, performing with DJs, and it kind of went from there. Really, it started with the all ages scene. I was getting quite busy in the all ages scene with like MFI and a few of these groups doing massive parties here. Yeah, right. During the late 90s, early 2000s. So, just one thing led to another, man.
And then the rest is history, man. You've been killing it for, like, what, how long? Fucking
25 years.
Yeah, killing it.
Oh, I'm getting old, man. Yeah. I just appreciate people still, like, want to book me and still like me.
Well, dude, I think you're still, even after that long, still like maybe the best in Perth. So, in terms of emceeing and DJing, I fucking love it. Every time you're on the lineup.
Thanks,
always
man.
good, bro.
Appreciate that.
And then, I was also going to ask, like, you've been doing it for that long, and it seems like every year you're getting some bigger opportunities and stuff. And you played Locust recently.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
How was that?
I first played it last year.
Oh, right.
And they flew me back again this year, and it's incredible, man. It's an amazing.
Was that a DJ set? Or
sorry,
DJing or MCing?
This year I did both a DJ set and an MC set. So
sick.
So I was on there as Diminish and Xsessiv, and just when you grow up listening to all your heroes, of drum and bass, and then you're on a lineup with them. Yeah, like it's always like quite humbling for me still.
Yeah,
like even though I've done it for such a long time and I've worked with these guys for 25 years. It's still really humbling to me, and I will always be a huge fanboy. Yeah. At the end of the day, and there's all sorts of crazy circumstances and the way the universe kind of aligns everything in your life. Like for an example, I was telling the story for someone recently at Locust. Watching MC Dynamite perform, and oh man, I used to watch this guy like 26 years ago, like 27 years ago. On dial-up internet, and just watching him and just like pretending to be him, and I was just like, I was just like infatuated by this guy, like this performance and his stage presence, and his lyrical flow and just his ability was just like top notch, right?
I think we all did shit like that, where at some point, like trying to emulate what you've been seeing, and
That's exactly
Yeah.
it, man. I mean, we're always going to be like influenced by our heroes and try and
Yeah.
sound like them until we find our own way eventually. It can take years to like find your
Yeah.
own direction, but they will really influence you to become the person that you are.
Yeah.
And growing up with MC Dynamite, and I remember like having my cat on my lap, like watching him with like on dial up, so it was all pixelated on the screen, watching him live and somewhere in like Bristol or somewhere.
Yeah.
And then like 20 years later, him being at my house,
Yeah.
playing with the same cat that I had on my lap, when I was like 14, 15. And it's just like a really weird,
Bizarre kind of moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really bizarre. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of scenarios where things like that happen, and it really like humbles you in a way. You remember where you come from, and
Yeah, man.
just appreciate it.
Yeah, I've had a few moments like that where I think mostly in like releasing songs with some bigger labels and stuff, and yeah, you just like a moment where you just go step back and be like, what the fuck, like
Yeah, that's it.
or if you're like DJing, or you get to meet some of your heroes while you're playing a show or something. It's just it's cool, man. Yeah,
it definitely made me like question my ability a lot of the times. Especially when I first started touring. I first started touring at about like 18, 19.
Yeah.
With like, Ministry of Sound, Gatecrasher, Creamfields, Big Day Out, these types of people. And it was always like, I was always questioning myself. Like, I still remember to this day, like, I was like 18 or 19 and doing my first tour.
Yeah.
And I remember it, man. The plane was taking off and I was by myself. And they paid for everything, obviously the flights, hotels, and everything like that. It was the first time for me, and I just remember like the plane taking off, and me just being like, "Crap! Like, do they know what I sound like? Like, what if they don't like me?"
Yeah, because I mean that would have been a time where you couldn't really send them a SoundCloud link or something.
Yeah. It was just
That's true.
There was no SoundCloud back then. There was no MySpace or Facebook or anything. It was a very organic way of doing things.
Yeah.
So I had I was always questioning myself and doubting myself during the touring, and I later found out that it was called imposter syndrome,
Right.
where you don't really necessarily feel that you're that good enough to make it, and you kind of blagged your way in, and you come up with all these weird scenarios in your head, but when it comes to performance time,
through that as well. Yeah.
yeah, when it comes to performance time, you just give it your all, and opportunities pop up.
There's something about that, like, I assume it probably happens with you. I think a lot of people say this, but like when you like get anxious and nervous like until the set comes up, and then build yourself up, you overhype it or whatever, and then and you feeling nervous, feeling anxious, but then as soon as you get on, it's like you're locked in, and it all kind of goes out the window, and you're just on it.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, back when I was a teenager, I was performing when I was like 17. I used to lose sleep before the night of a gig. Like I just couldn't sleep.
Dude,
It was horrible.
I've done that so many times. Not with gigs, but with just stuff in life. I don't know. Maybe that's like a part of ADHD or some shit with me. But I would have a job that I'd be like, oh, I'm starting a job. I think I did this. I was working for Vodafone. I think I was like 18 or 19, and I got a job with them. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go do this cool job. And I was so excited and like nervous. I didn't sleep the whole night. Got to the job. 7 a.m. fell asleep at the desk. Like, so I completely get it.
Good first day, yeah. I've done my fair share of falling asleep during certain time. I mean, even in it's crazy to think, man. Like in high school, I used to sneak out of home, wait for everyone to go to sleep. It'll be like a Thursday night or something. There'll be like a drum and bass event in the city,
right,
or an international. Because back then, like Perth is so lucky that we get internationals every weekend, like multiples, like 2, 3 a weekend. Back then, you'd have to wait about 4 months to see a drum and bass international. So there's only about 3 or 4 a year, and they'll be like months apart.
Yeah.
So I remember like just sneaking out of home, on a Thursday night, waiting for everyone to like fall asleep, and then take the fly screen off my wall, and calm the cat down so she wouldn't meow the house down. Like sneak out with a backpack, climb over the wall, catch the 884 bus to the city, and sometimes I'd have to wait outside the club for a few hours, like sometimes like 2 hours, sometimes in the rain, just for the security or bouncers to turn their back and then I'd run up the steps or run into the club.
Sick.
And I'd get the promoter come up to me like, well, where have you been? Like, I've been trying to call you.
Right.
Get on stage.
Fuck.
And then MC for people like Bad Company, like DJ Fresh and Maldini. And, I'd be so nervous. I'd be hiding behind speakers. And, the place would just go crazy. It'd be like 900,000, sometimes 1,100 people.
Yeah.
And it just, it was such a crazy moment. And then I remember making excuses after the gig not to go anywhere with everyone because, and this happened a few times, they'll be like, oh, Geisha want us to do an after party, at Geisha, like, let's go, come MC with us and things. And I'll be like, no, I'm like, someone's picking me up or I've got to go to a party. But what I was doing, I was going back to the bus stop.
Yeah.
And just by myself, catch the 884 back home, do the reverse, jump over the wall, jump into my bedroom and wash the stamps off my arm and then get changed into my school uniform.
Yeah.
And then go to school, just walk to school and not tell anyone about it. And I'd be so tired. And man, I told GQ this story recently. I'd during this time, I'd go to the library during recess and break, and there was a table at the very back far corner of the room, and I'd just fall asleep under the table just to catch up on sleep. And I didn't tell anyone about this for 8 months, and not even my closest friends found out until after high school. And it's a weird thing. You put yourself through this brutal sort of schedule just to be exposed to it, and it was a really weird time because I didn't know what I was doing at the time, really. But all I knew is I wanted to be a part of it. No matter what it took, and that's why I didn't tell anyone about it throughout. My year 11 going into year 12, I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want it being taken away from me for whatever reason. Dave's sneaking out of homes and sneaking out of his house at night and performing events, and then coming to school the next day. I didn't want anyone to know that. So it was a bit of a struggle, but it just makes you the person you are today, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, man. So, no, that's funny. I did a lot of sneaking out as well in my time. But I did a lot of it in Cape Town when I grew up there. And,
sure.
But a bit of a different vibe. But yeah, there was a lot of that. A lot of people would sneak me into shit and little festivals and stuff like that. Wow. Not so much clubs, but little couple festivals here and there. I'd jump over a couple walls to get in and shit. 14 years old and shit. Just trying to
it's crazy.
Go and listen to. Basically, it was just I was so interested in dubstep at the time, a lot of that old school Casper type of shit.
Oh, cool.
Back around then, and so that was the only way I could hear it. So I was really keen for that.
Awesome.
But
Screaming Banger.
Yeah, exactly, man. It was interesting because back then that was 2007, 8 or something. I don't know, and there wasn't really I think even YouTube would have just started.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't really find a lot of tunes and and I didn't even know what half of the shit was. So it was just a scene of hearing it from other people and going to gigs and getting dubs passed around and stuff. So
I think my first exposure to proper rave music was not only radio and tape packs in London, but during around 1993, 1994, the Commodore Amiga 500 was a big thing. And so people were trading 3.5-inch floppy disks with music and rave videos on them. And so I was getting that from my cousin. And it's funny because you put the disc in, you couldn't rewind or fast forward or even pause it.
Yeah.
You have to commit to this 45-minute just mix of just the coolest rave music ever. Nobody knew who made it, which is the most bizarre thing at the time. And specifically, this one in particular I grew up on was called Jesus on Ease, as in ecstasy. Ease. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but you can even YouTube it now, and you can hear the stuff I was I grew up on. Jesus on Ease on YouTube.
Yeah.
And this was definitely influential for me.
Right. Jesus on Ease.
Yeah. Can't believe there is the second one. Yep, that's it. What year does it say? What year it is?
Don't think so. Nah. It says this has been uploaded on 2014.
Yeah, this was about 1992,
Yeah, okay.
91, 92. So
Yeah, right.
oh, damn, come on.
Some cool vocals. Ooh, this is a nice little bass.
This is it, man. So this was primary school days for me. I used to come home from school and just crank this before my parents came home. And I'll be like 9, 10 years old.
Oh, so it's like a whole
listening
mix
to
or something, right?
It's a whole mix, yeah.
Okay.
And it goes for like what, 32
Yeah, 30
minutes?
something minutes.
And you couldn't fast forward it, you couldn't pause it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when you commit to it a little bit longer, you'd hear a little bit more of the song.
Right,
And then like, you know, my mum or someone would come home and I'd be cranking it, so I'd have to turn it off. But
Yeah, right.
this kind of stuff was what I grew up on, and
Yeah.
it was quite unique to me because none of my friends were really into it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really share this with anyone.
That's cool. I'll have to listen to the rest of that later.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I'll put a link in the bottom for everyone.
Yeah,
But yeah,
everyone should
that's
definitely
cool.
listen to Jesus on Ease. So
Yeah.
so that things like that was really influential to me, man. So
Yeah.
growing up on rave music like that, and
Yeah, I had a. Sorry, when I was like back in Cape Town days, it was, I would just get given like CDs with mixes on it and CDs with tunes, and then you'd upload it to like a MP3 player and or like a Walkman or something, and
for sure.
but back then it was a similar thing where like you would just have like a name of the mix or a name of something, or you'd hear like vocals in the track, but you didn't have a name of the song or artist that played it. And so there's a lot of music that I had that was like, early kind of rave stuff like this, and like some of that early 140 stuff, and there was shit that I just used to like blast on the way to school and stuff.
Yeah.
And then because it didn't have any names, I just couldn't. There was no way to find out who this was. To this day, there's a lot of shit that like, I'm just like, fuck. I wish I kept that CD or that thing because there's no way to get back to it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Crazy how different things are now, though. Like, even like with something like this, where it's like a 30-minute whatever, and you got to listen the whole way. You can't pause.
Yeah.
Imagine today's youth
trying to hunt this stuff down, and
no, I mean like getting through 30 minutes of something. I think their attention span's just fucked.
Yeah, especially if they couldn't rewind or pause and fast forward. It was a nightmare back then. No, the culture's definitely changed a lot. People get it quite easy here. I say often I almost sound like some old man complaining about the way things used to be.
I feel the same, and I'm younger than you, but like I feel the same shit. And it's like I've only been really going hard on the D&B scene for like 5 years, but it's changed so much in 5 years, like in terms of so many things. But
it goes wild, with a lot of different processes, really. So, for example, like 25, 26 years ago, before MySpace and social media and things like this, the only way to find out if you're playing a gig or not, or to meet other like-minded, DJs and MCs, was to go down to the record store, which was Central Station here in Perth at the time. So every Thursday they would have a flyer drop. So Thursday was the flyer drop.
Sick.
So you would literally just go to the city, go to Central Station, and there'll be 2 huge tables full of flyers from like small to large posters, and of upcoming raves and gigs and things coming up.
Yeah.
And back then it was all mixed genre events. So you'd have hardcore for the first few hours. You'd have drum and bass or something for the next few hours. You'd have like acid house or something like that for the next few. So we were sharing the stage with a lot of different genres.
Nice.
And so you'd go to Central Station on a Thursday and literally look for your name on like 100 different flyers.
Yeah.
And just like,
see if you got booked or something.
See if you got booked,
Wow.
yeah. And there'll be like a big name, like, like Andy or Bailey or these type of people. And you see your name on it, and you'd be like, yes. Like, it was such a gaseous time. And then you'd find other DJs there who you're performing with on the same lineup. you get to meet them like, oh, hey man, like I really loved your set a few weeks ago here, like,
Right.
and then like they'd be like, yeah man, like I'd like to work with you, like jump on my set next time. So it was a really organic way of doing it.
Yeah.
Leaving your house, traveling to a record store just to find out if you're playing a gig.
That's
quite
wild.
often the promoters would book the same people quite often and not necessarily tell you that you're being booked for it. So because eventually you'll find out anyway. It's not like today.
That's crazy. Yeah. I would probably. I mean, it's different time now, but I would probably freak out about that because I like to be organized about shit. So imagine just how like what kind of time did you have in terms of like you'd see that on a Thursday and when would the gig be kind of thing?
It would probably be up to about 3-4 weeks later.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes a month and a half or so.
Yeah.
So similar to now, but really it was like in high school, going and then seeing if you've been picked for like the team, the basketball team, whatever. Except you're like standing shoulder to shoulder with like DJs you really respect. And they're in the same boat. They're looking at what gigs are coming up, and because we had no social media, there was no event page or anything.
For sure.
That was a really cool organic time, and I kind of miss times like that really because you had to get out of your comfort zone. Everyone had their own sort of like shyness or ego to them, and you really get to know the DJ or the MC, and most of the time we're all like minded and just loved enjoying a laugh and loved smashing sets, and so it was a cool way of like meeting other DJs and performing with them, and getting on the lineup with them, and it was like amazing opportunities, man. Nice. I really miss times like that. It's definitely changed.
Yeah, man, and I would say it's like I was saying, like it's changed in just the last 5 or 6 years, where I felt like I would say 5-6 years ago, like before COVID, even with that, like there was social media still everywhere, but quite different to a degree, and back then, it felt like it was a lot more about networking to get a gig. Which obviously I think everyone still needs to do to a degree, but I think now it's just message someone and but before I had to go out and like try and make friends with the promoter and
that's right,
and introduce myself and and I did that for from 2015 onwards, but now it's everyone's access to everyone. And
that's right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, man. And back then you really had to like work for it because the drum and bass community, the DJ circuit anyway, was quite a tight knit group of just a few people. And these few people were booked out time and time again. It's not like every man and his dog DJing now. You had to pay for your own equipment to learn on, and turntables were expensive back then. They still are. But and buying records and vinyl and getting into importing. It's really pricey, man. So not everyone could do it and afford it and have the skills to do it and have the patience and everything. So there was a small knit drum and bass DJ and MC community that I would just fit into. And they all felt like my older brothers. They'd always take care of me and.
Oh, that's cool.
And push me onto stage, force me on. In most cases, I'd hate being on stages. So there was a point where I think I was like early 2000s, around like 2001 to 2005, where they started building stages for the MC, and I'd get a message the next day from the promoters like, "Oh, hey Dave, like did a really good job last night. Thanks for coming, but you never used the stage we got, and it cost them like $500 or something." I was like, I didn't ask you to get a stage. Like,
what kind of stage was it? Like, what is it?
It's literally a stage in front of the DJ booth.
Okay, cool. So a little bit extra space type of thing.
For MCs to perform on.
Right.
So it was crowd, MC, then DJ. So which it is like these days, to be honest. But back then it was just like a new transition. So I had to get out of my my shyness very quickly. It took me a long time to break out of that. It took me almost 10 years, to be honest. But
that would be tough, man. I mean, DJing in front of people is one thing, but being able to like be on the spot MCing in front of people is another level.
Well, that's the thing. Like you learn that talking in front of large groups is one of the world's biggest fears. I mean, statistically, people would rather die than talk in front of like 1,000 people. It's like a really high level of fear in people, and I always had that in myself. I never wanted to be an MC in that sort of sense where I was on stage, performing in front of crowds. That was never
Yeah, you
really
were
the
just
idea.
like pursuing the art or the music or yeah.
I was trying to find my niche, and I was DJing
exactly.
at the time, but I wasn't DJing drum and bass music. I was a DMC DJ, so I
Okay,
I
cool.
was scratching and
Yeah,
juggling. End up entering the DMCs in 2003
Sick.
here in WA. That was amazing, but I was mostly into scratching and juggling and doing
Yeah.
tricks and things like that. I wasn't really collecting drum and bass records until later on.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like a bizarre way, and I hated being on stage. And I still praise the DJs who I worked with back then, and even the MCs like Rough Cut would come and find me in the club and pick me up because I was just like some small skinny kid, like pick me up on his shoulders and literally throw me onto the stage, or do huge intros for me when I'm like hiding in the back of the room. I'd be happy to just stay off stage and MC off the stage, or quite often for like 5-6 years I'd hide behind the speaker monitor for the DJ.
Yep.
And so you just see my arms flailing around the speaker from time to time. So, but yeah, I didn't really like it. It wasn't really me. So
What about now? Like, are you a bit more comfortable these days? Obviously, you've been killing it for a long time, but like, do you still get nerves and stuff going up and all that?
About like 10 years into this, into my career, I suppose, that transition from fear to excitement started to turn around.
Okay.
So these days when I'm when I'm booked for a show, if it's like if it's like prime time, we've got a massive crowd or something, I'm not as nervous as I used to be. I used to fall apart. I used to the point where I just didn't want to do it. And anyone would love to have that opportunity, but it was so bizarre to me because I was thrown into the deep end so quickly, so I had to be used to it very quickly. And I dug my own hole in the way, but these days I'm really just excited. I can't wait to get on, and and it shows in the performance a lot as well.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's interesting you say like you dug your own way into it. Because I often think about that about myself, like chatting with people, because I get mad anxiety about, well, just in general, but I get anxiety about DJing but I love DJing. I don't really love DJing, but I love music so much.
Yeah.
I love making music. I love playing music.
Yeah.
But I also have this crippling anxiety sometimes that comes over, and I often tell my friends and my wife, and I'm like, why the fuck did I get into this shit? Because I'm such a I really just want to be a hermit sometimes, but I have to put myself out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes have a bit of a panic, but then as soon as I get on, I lock in and it goes away, and so it's really funny the what's the word, like the dichotomy of it, of like just you almost don't want this spotlight, but it comes. Anyways.
I know. You work your way up to the spotlight, then when it comes to it, you just kind of like shy away from it.
But you can't turn it down because you know how like important it is. You know how crucial it is. So you got to just run with it.
When I started getting toured around, that really hit me a lot. I had no choice but to perform in front of like large scale crowds and things, with a lot of like A-class celebrities who were big around at the time, like Dizzy Rascal, Swedish House Mafia, Calvin Harris, like Lily Allen, these types of people. Like really just it was a bizarre time because I was always quite shy. So to be around like these types of people and just having breakfast with them in the mornings on tours, it was cool. I almost had to like front and pretend I was better than I thought I was. Just to kind of fit into that sort of like category. But the thing is, like, it's such a natural form. Like we started seeing like I said, like some of these names watching us on the side of the stage, like in Brisbane or Sydney and stuff, and they were really getting into it and loving it. And they'd have no idea what kind of like stress and anxiety and stuff I was going in because I was just hiding it. And so that's a part of it as well, kind of like taming your ego and your just being really cautious of what you sound like, even sometimes overcautious, and just not in letting it flow. It was a hard thing for me to break through. I was very like very stagnant, very like robotic in a way.
Okay.
Kind of sticking to the script in some ways very early on. But I found out that wasn't the way to do it, and really just to open up. And people like I said, early influences like Scotty Assassin, Jay Ripper, John Roughcut, Interjector, and even people like Stamina from UK. They really helped me push through that boundary of the shyness and anxiety.
Right. What do you reckon was like a good technique to help with that? Pushing through that boundary, for example, like
really just a snap into reality. Like really, like, look, you're getting paid to do these big shows. Are you a professional?
Yeah,
was literally what Stamina told me one time. Like, are you a professional? And I was like, I wasn't going to say like no, So he they really helped just push through a couple of like hurdles that I had. That you build up these barriers in your own mind, really. Yeah. So it's just kind of someone not necessarily breaking through the wall, but just teaching you how to climb over it, and the expectation is for you to do that. So being questioned, are you a professional? Was like something just kind of snapped, because I'd never been asked that before by an international as well, and I was like, yeah, I guess so. That's so weird. Maybe I should act like one. So things like that really kind of broke through the hurdles. Really, that was that. I remember that time very specifically. It was in a club called Space Bar, which turned into Shape nightclub eventually. Cool. So this is about 22 years ago or so, and I was emceeing for just a local guy. It was just a local night, and I was still so shy about it. And they really just kind of snap you back to reality and get you over these anxiety that you just built up yourself, really. So it's just telling me things I needed to hear that no one really told me, really. That's all. So
for sure. No, that's cool, man.
Helps out a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like, even to this day, I still have anxiety like about every set I fucking play, and I'm just like, but
I think it's important in a way. It makes you more aware of what you sound like. Being cautious of what you're doing, and just being careful and not necessarily surgical, just being more aware of what you sound like and what the crowd are feeling. You've got to be dynamic in a way. You can't really stick to the script.
No. I was talking to, I don't know who, I was talking to someone about that, and like, I think, there's so many DJs, especially like out there these days, that I'm seeing in Perth, and I guess newer DJs, I would say, that are very, and even ones I've booked where I've noticed this, and where they just stick to the script, stick to what they've planned, and can't like accommodate a change in the vibe or what the crowd's after. And it's interesting. I think everyone needs to really learn that kind of skill of being able to, change it up. And I think like I learned that from doing a lot of commercials type of stuff at like the Brass Monkey, and just that whole gig is just, what is the crowd into?
For sure. Whether it be requests or whatever they might be feeling at the time. I think a lot of like bedroom DJs here, like they tend to stick to what they used to, what they've practiced 100 times in their room, and it's that dynamic flow of just moving with what the crowd wants. It's happens less often these days. People, like we've been saying, is sticking to their track list, and it's, if it works for them, it works.
Exactly. I mean, everyone has their own way of doing it, but it is. I think it's a crucial skill to have to try and
100%.
maneuver your way through the crowd.
Definitely.
A key kind of question I think that I've had in my mind. I've been doing this for a while. I've been DJing for, I think, since. I think I've been playing out since 2015. Out and about and all that, which is just about 10 years now, so I think maybe a little bit more.
Nice one.
But I've been making music since I was a fucking kid, and but as time goes on, you start to think about shit, and you start to dwell on things, and you're like, where do we go from here? Like, how are things going? And so I mean,
where did you learn to make music? Did you have any friends who were making music at the time?
I had I think like two friends that were They were making stuff, and my dad actually helped me out a bit because he didn't help me out with music, but he got me onto it because I really wanted to do something with music.
Yep.
And I started in a lot of. I started trying stuff. So I started rapping at one point, like with some friends, and
Get out.
yeah. So
No
I was
way.
heavy into Method Man, and
Yeah, right.
And I was like, so I wanted to be that, and so we did like a little
I've got a
thing,
funny
and-
Method Man story.
Yeah,
I'll line up
alright.
after this. Yeah, go.
But so yeah, so I started with that, and and then I got into and my whole kind of journey as a kid was just how the fuck do I make music? But like with no information or resources, no one would tell you. This would have been, I don't know, 2004 or something, or 5, I don't know. And there was just nothing around. There wasn't Google that you could use, or so the natural thing was, okay, I love listening to Wu-Tang, so I was like, I'll try rap, and so I'd write down lyrics all the time for fucking years, and then that I didn't really have a click with it. Like, I really enjoyed it, but I guess I got mocked a bit for it as a young kid. And then naturally progressing into, okay, I guess the other option is guitar, because that's what people do.
Nice.
So I tried that and didn't really click with it. And then it wasn't until I was about like 12 or 13 that where my dad introduced me to Cubase.
Wow.
Because his friend was a DJ, still DJ now, and he does like psytrance stuff and tours the world doing that. But and so he knew what he was. He had like a whole studio that my dad took me to and like would show me around and stuff. And back in South Africa, and then so he got me Cubase because that's what he used. Yeah. And so I was like just blown away. Like, what the heck's this shit?
Do you remember which version it was?
It would have been very early on. Like it was. Yeah, it was like 2006 or something. Okay, so it was a long time ago.
It'd been like Cubase 4. Yeah. 3 or 4 at the time.
And so I think that was the first DAW I ever had. And it was wild. And like there wasn't any tutorials I could find or anything. So like I didn't even know what I was doing. And I was just mucking around. And then eventually, I think then I came to Australia when I was about 13, 14. So a little bit after that. And then I had some friends here who told me about FL Studio. And so I started with that for a while, and I ran with FL for like, I don't know, a couple of years. Yeah. And I think that was when I started seeing some YouTube stuff, but even around then, it wasn't like it is now on YouTube, where it was there was really like only a handful of people on YouTube talking about music production.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even I was so like early onto it and like just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
like,
no, 100%.
And then I transitioned to Reason for a little while. Which was cool. It was a good spot to learn a bit of how to make synths with like the wires and patching everything and then eventually made my way to Ableton, like I think around 16.
Polo and Bryson are still on Reason.
Really?
Yeah, they still use it.
Wow. I think it's got a cool they've got some cool like synths in there. Yeah. Really unique type of stuff. But once I found Ableton, I never went back. I fucking loved it. And,
nice.
Yeah,
it took a while for a Reason to jump onto VST support to begin with. It was like RSAs or whatever it was.
It was only the native stuff that you could use for ages. And I think that's why I actually joined Ableton, because you could use Massive at the time. And all that. And
so I remember, man.
But I never did any like musical training until maybe like 18, 20 or something like around that. Where I started doing like online training for piano and stuff. And,
sure.
And it wasn't the only reason why I learned it was I feel like I was quite like just out of it until I was like 22.
Yeah, I hear that.
Just high, drunk, just out of it, not really paying attention to life, just doing my own thing, and then 22. 21, 22, it was like my brain kicked in.
It's like you snap out of it.
And then I started realizing like, oh shit, like I need to do this and that. And then I think that's when I think that must have been around that 2017, 18 era where I started taking it all seriously.
Yeah, good.
And then I started like learning music theory and all that. And
the thing is, with me, I learned the music theory quite early on, but no one was really teaching me how to actually produce it or make it. And so I was reading a lot of Bob Katz's books. If anyone
Right.
Learns by reading. I highly suggest reading Bob Katz, Katz.
Okay.
And he's an engineer in America. He's an amazing music engineer and mastering engineer. Sorry, and he wrote a couple of books on audio engineering, and they're really easy to follow. And I learned a lot reading these 3 books by him before I even started laying a kick drum down. So,
That's cool. I need to check that out. I really I've always wanted like a book or two to just have just to like flick through about stuff like that. But I found it's quite hard to find anything like that.
Yeah, that's right. And he released like 2 or 3 really like quite short books in terms of they were only about 80 to 100 pages long, and it had everything that you needed to work in a digital audio realm, basically. And explains the differences between working in analog gear in terms of working with and compared with digital, whether you're working with levels or like sonic values or things like this. And I learned a lot from it, but you never stop learning, to be honest.
Yeah, always. I've been learning a lot of stuff lately about, I would say I've learned more in the last 2 years than I have previously. Like, not in terms of how to use a DAW or music theory, but like, just like, I've learned a lot about just little nuanced things that you can't really find on like an online blog or whatever. But it's just like, so like Patreon's been a big help with that stuff. Like watching people like Monty and I did a course with DLR and like just learning from other people that are doing it. And I've learned a lot in the last couple of years. But it's like the theory never ends.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep going.
I'm even learning at the moment. Like I've been making music for like 20 years or something, and only now I'm really focusing a lot more on the basics, such as gain staging. Making sure that the signal's not running too hot into each VST, and actually learning how the VSTs are modeled, and how they treat incoming audio, the signal levels, and a lot of this stuff, like have been around for decades, but you only really like learn it more recently when you get into like the real crux of what's actually happening with your audio when you send it through different processing chains. And so going back to basics, like gain staging in particular, is something I wish I did years ago, so and it's such a fundamental thing that you should be doing, and just no one really teaches you about that.
There's so much to learn though that sometimes you're taking in too much info that you kind of forget about the fundamentals or something like that.
And you forget about having fun of making music to begin with. You can get so like bombarded with the technicalities of things, and I'm a victim of that all the time. Sometimes I'll get weeks or even months of writer's block, just simply because I've just like convoluted so much technical knowledge and theory in my head that I should be sticking by, in terms of like just increasing the rule book really. And it kind of like it can work. It can be detrimental to your like creative flow, because you're overthinking the technical, the sonic value of the sound. When it should be creative writing, fun, free flowing.
I kind of tend to separate my stuff nowadays where I have like the first part of making the track is the fun and the creative. And I still do a bit of mixing, just mostly for sound design. But then I'll do the more technical shit later. And like stem it out and then mix it all separately. And
that's good.
Otherwise, I just you get bogged down like that, and it's like, I'm too worried about this part, and I haven't finished the rest of the song. Or,
you really start questioning it. Because you don't. The last thing you want to do is spend like weeks to months on a track only to just completely cook the mix or destroy it at the end. And it's so easy to do. And it's quite often I'll be mastering my own tracks, and I got to a stage where I'm like, wow, like the version 15 times before was the best one. Like it just has something to it. Like
you've been like overthinking it.
And you think back to you listen back to earlier versions, and they hit so much better and they slap so much better than your newer, cleaner, surgical versions. And maybe you think to yourself, maybe these frequencies should be clashing. Maybe it should be distorting slightly
Yeah.
here and there, just for that natural crunch.
Yeah,
and
that's
you can get too surgical and bogged down with the technicalities and really take away from like the essence of what made the song sound good in the beginning.
Yeah.
It just sounds like too
That's what
clean
happened.
at the end, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I get you. That's what happened with that song I was talking about before, where I've just been sitting on it for a while.
Yeah.
And it was like I saved each version that I made like separately, and but I kept changing stuff, and then I realized like after just keep changing, I was like, I actually lost all the energy that the original one had, so I had
Yeah.
to pretty much revert back to that one because I liked that one the most and it had the most kind of rhythm and energy to it for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes you just overthink shit.
Overthink it, yeah, and you can destroy it. It can be detrimental. Like,
Yeah.
one thing I'm doing more often is using less channels. That I was always
Yeah.
always had a habit of making so many layers in my tracks, just simply because not necessarily that's what I thought had to be done. It just sounded better with different textures and layers on it.
getcha, yeah.
It got to a point where the one of the biggest tracks in terms of project size I've done was 425 channels.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a track called Stealth. It got released on Greg Packer's label like 12 years ago or something. But I had 425 channels in that thing, and it was such a nightmare to mix down. And so I do things a lot differently now, just to make it easier for myself later on. So you kind of have to like think of like your future self dealing with this. Yeah.
I get it. I'm just gonna take a quick intermission.
Do it.
Go to the toilet. If you want to go as well, you can.
I'll go with you. Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, and then we'll continue. There
Yeah, cool.
some fun questions.
Oh, fuck yes.
About a half hour left.
Easy. That's until time's flying by.
Yeah, man, it goes quick, dude.
There's a couple of like production things. So I forgot to mention as well.
Yeah.
Like recording lyrics for Rob Swire and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll mention
feel
that.
free to bring it up, man.
Yeah, easy.
Like right now, if you want.
I'm just trying not to name drop. Like sound like one of them dudes are just like this guy and this. When do we resume? We just go straight into it.
Straight into it, man. Fuck it.
All right, cool.
It's a convo, you know.
Yeah, so it's a casual convo. Yeah. But no, I was like I was saying, with the production thing, I was lucky to be working with so many big producers in the world, or just emceeing for them basically. So every time they came to Perth, I would always have a bunch of questions that I had lined up, and because I always loved the way that they made music.
Yeah.
So I'd always just trying to absorb as much as I could and just learn as much as I could after our set.
Yeah.
We'd just sit down and have a drink, no matter who it be, like Alex and TB, Subfocus, who was type of guys though. I'd just basically question after question after question and just kind of apply it when I got home.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I've
always wanted to do that, but then I'm like, I don't want to piss them off. And,
you got to find the right moment, honestly.
Yeah.
If it's not the right time, then you just allow it.
Yeah.
But
great.
when I was during 2003, 2004, I was lucky enough. I was living in Scarborough at the time, and Rob Swire lived down the road from Pendulum.
Yeah.
lived down the road from me. And so he lived behind my girlfriend at the time, her house. So I used to travel to his house all the time on my bike. And I would trade recording lyrics for some Cubase lessons and production tutorials, basically. So I would sit with him for a few hours at a time and just watch him.
Sick.
And I learned a lot about using Cubase very early on because of that.
Yeah.
So, I was always grateful for that. So... so some crazy opportunities
awesome,
happened
man.
later
Yeah.
on as well. Like in 2004, they called me asking me to come over to London to be the official MC for Pendulum.
Wow.
And and just tour around the world with them, in Miami, Europe, everywhere. And I'd just started a job. I was 2 months into a corporate job here, so I was like, I can't do it. I can't just throw everything away on a whim. It's a crazy adventure, to be on. And I quite often think about how my life would have turned out. It's like a sliding doors moment, whether you just leave everything here behind and go back to London and do that. And
No, I mean, I get where you come from. I think I've had moments as well where I've thought about what if I did this and that in terms of the music career that I'm going for, and but I think life is interesting, man. I think the universe has a way of giving you opportunities, but also letting you know when the time is right or not.
Yeah.
And and there must have been something in that moment with you when you knew that it could have been good, but it just wasn't the right time for you or something. And
That's it. Yeah.
and then stuff like that happens to me where I'm like I feel shit about like maybe I didn't take that opportunity, but maybe I wasn't, and maybe still not ready for it in myself.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
You always have this overwhelming like sense of uncertainty when it comes to things like that, and I think it just comes down to trusting your gut.
yeah,
What will work out for you, beneficially. I mean, I could have easily just given everything up, my corporate job, living here and just moving to London and just try and make ends meet on being an MC for Pendulum. And I didn't know what that was going to look like, how often it would happen.
Yeah.
So there was like this overwhelming sense of like insecurity and financial insecurity and just not knowing what's going to happen. So there's a lot of uncertainty based around that plan. So I said no to them, obviously, and continued here. But I was it's crazy that the universe will give you opportunities like that, and it's really like a fork in the road type situation where you really need to like evaluate what could happen.
Yeah, man. I have some like deeper thoughts about stuff and questions.
Sure.
And we both, I think, use the term universe a lot.
Yeah.
About, I have this like, I don't know, I guess an idea of, and I actually spoke about this a little bit with Nick Sullivan about manifestation and so on.
Yeah.
What's your belief on that? Like, do you think the universe, if you want to call it that, or consciousness or whatever it is, do you think that there's a kind of path, I guess, that we're meant to go with, or that there's opportunities that the world or the universe tries to throw towards you?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's something like you're putting in the work in this certain area, so the world or the universe is kind of rewarding you for that?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good question, actually. So I mean, traditionally, we're quite dumbed down as humans in terms of being controlled, whether or not we're told what we're capable of doing, more so what we're not capable of doing. And I think you really need to trust your inner senses and really understand that, you can manifest things. I mean, there's been books written about it for, 800 years at least, so about how to manipulate the world to forecast and shape how things are going to be for you. And people still do it to this day. I mean, billionaires do it to this day. But in terms of like the depth of it, I mean, really, I feel like everything that that did happen in your life was the way it should have been.
Yeah.
Everything that is happening right now is the way it should be.
Yeah.
And everything that will happen in the future is how it shall be so. In terms of manifestation, I truly believe it is possible. I've done it myself a lot of times. You have to be realistic, have a positive mental image, and literally visualize yourself doing something or something happening.
Yep.
And as long as you're focused and you stick to it, it's crazy how opportunities will align in your life to make that thing happen. You have to just be consciously aware that the universe will try and help you. You have to be selfish in a lot of ways as well in terms of your thinking, sacrificing and things like this. There's old saying, the universe helps those that help themselves.
Yeah, right.
So you just kind of have to put your trust in it. And manifestation is something I definitely believe in.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'm on the same thing. It's something that I've been really thinking about a lot over the last 5 years or so, like, and really exploring, like, I don't know, mental type of stuff like that, mental kind of states or consciousness and so on. And it's been interesting to learn a lot about stuff like that. And it's been interesting for me to go from like hearing stuff like that, but then seeing things happen in my life, like mostly in the music kind of career that I'm chasing. And and it's like a bit bizarre sometimes. And you're like, oh shit, like this is awesome that this has happened or come around. But then I just think about like, oh, like if I didn't do something a while ago that's really set me on this path, and this would never have happened. Or,
Yeah.
And so it kind of feels like what you're saying, where it's like it feels like it should be the way it is.
Yeah.
Even though it might not make sense at the time when you're choosing option A or B or.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of knowledge that has been passed down to us is completely suppressed in a lot of ways. So understanding what you're capable of doing is quite like diminished early on in life. You know, so you're not taught the methods of how things can be. You know, even thinking back to being like an 8, 9-year-old, like looking in the mirror, pretending I was a rapper with like, you know, with like a hairbrush or something as a microphone, just pretending and you know, being like a 14, 15-year-old watching drum and bass MCs, like pretending to do what they're doing and stuff. And then, you know, years later, warming up for the Prodigy in front of 10,000 people, you know, it's like a weird, you know, is it a coincidence or is it something that you kind of manifested and shaped organically and had your universe align these opportunities for you to take that path? I think a lot of people can be blind to the opportunities or shy away from it. Or just doubt themselves. It's just like a lot of challenges you've got to get through. But I absolutely believe in it, you know. Frequency and vibration is how things work around us. I mean,
man.
Fundamentals
I think,
of physics.
it's interesting how the society or civilization that we are in now, where I think it's quite clear that kind of stuff is happening or a part of life. But, you know, you got stuff like school and 9 to 5 and where just everything's all about productivity and all that instead of, you know, reaching inwards a bit.
No, it is. I mean, you have to like kind of align yourself with the society's status quo and the requirements of you, you know, being almost like a slave to the system just to survive. But it's important to do what you want to do. There's always, you know, something that we've always wanted to do inside, I think. You know, whether it's something creative or helping people or doing something constructive or, you know, there's so many opportunities for different paths for different people. So in terms of myself, I absolutely believe that, you know, thoughts, positive mental images that I had growing up definitely shaped how things turned out. And it's got to be more than a coincidence. It's very bizarre how it works. But as long as you're sure of yourself, you know, you're positive, you're realistic, you listen to feedback, you don't have an ego to it, you know, you go in for the right reasons. I believe, you know, the universe will align you to the path that you want.
Yeah, man.
And it can be anything.
That's awesome, mate.
Yeah.
100% agree. And it's just been more evident, I guess, as I've gotten older and being more aware about looking for these kind of things. So it's just very interesting. And in terms of, I guess, kind of on the same track, another thought I had, or a question, very similar, I think, but more about ideas. There's a very common, what's the word, like a common idea, I guess, of where do ideas come from, where do concepts come from, or and this kind of, I guess, aligns as well with consciousness and so on. But but I often think about it within the world of music, and I think like, oh, you know, I've been able to grasp this idea of a song that I've made, and I've put it onto paper and made something of it, and then I sometimes think like, I guess the idea of, did I have that idea, or did I reach out? Was it given to
you? That's actually a really important point that no one really talks about. It's there's been books written about this as well. Actually, the idea of subconscious learning and adaptive creative processes, almost by disconnecting yourself and allowing something else to channel through you. They say that humans aren't born really as a creative being, except some of us are capable of opening ourselves up to an external force, if you will, feeding us creativity and feeding us methods of doing things. So, and it happens in the studio, man. I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes you'll be making a beat or like structuring a track, and you almost disconnect from it.
Yeah.
And you just allow
Go into,
something
like,
else
that
to take
flow
over.
state kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're almost subconsciously just doing everything. And somehow everything's just working out.
Yeah.
And there's been lots of talk about this, for hundreds of years of, people really just opening up their mind to a different force, but, of knowledge being pushed into you and creativity and stuff. And it just comes down to the person whether or not they're open enough to accept that kind of that thing, that flow.
That's something that I've been kind of delving into a lot, about opening yourself up to that kind of stuff, because it's definitely something that I've been believing in for a long time, but like trying to understand it.
I mean, there's people who've been writing this about this hundreds of years before you and I were born. This whole subconscious type of like applying creativity is not necessarily born with us, or it's not a subject of environment or learning. It's us opening our mind and something else feeding that creativity into us. And like I said, you can disconnect yourself in the studio and allow something else to take over, and it just works. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's wild and it's interesting. But it seems to work. Whatever it is.
You
know what I mean?
100%.
So
to be honest, it's quite hard to get into that phase. You can't just sit down and zombie out and just allow something else to take over. There's a lot of.
I think even when I do go to the studio, I've really got to get myself in the mood to a degree. I mean, I sometimes think of it as like a tuning fork or something where you just got to really get yourself into the right 100%. Frequency to sit down and start making something. And I think about these ideas, and I'm like, I've had a lot of incidents where I've had a really good idea come onto me, and I'm like, I could do this, but then maybe I haven't gone through that because I'm busy or whatever. And then later I'll see that exact idea somewhere else that someone's done, and that's what makes me think like, surely this stuff is out there that we're just grabbing onto.
It's bizarre. I used to have that growing up as a kid. Really weird. Like I was always like very inventive as a kid. I was always like trying to build robots or building race cars or breaking things that I'd get toys just to kind of like reassemble it in a way or figure out how they made it. So like these kind of things that's happened. Oh god, what was I going with that? I was going to say something interesting.
But no, I get what you mean. Like I think that's a part of human nature, like to be inquisitive and to be curious about stuff and break stuff down, try and rebuild things and figure things out for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That was something I did a lot as a kid. Break things and try and fix them, and just work out the inner workings of how it all works. But it's a tricky one. You can get quite deep with the conversation in terms of capabilities and stuff. But
we can get a little bit deeper afterwards. But
let's get deep now, man. Whenever you want. I
feel like we're on the same bandwidth about this. But I've got another deep question, which another thing I think I really. I don't know if this comes from positivity or anxiety or something, but I really think about myself and life and things quite a lot. And I think even with music like that, I feel like that comes into my music, where a lot of my music I try to be emotional, at least, even, which is quite hard in drum and bass, I think. But a big question that's been on my mind, at least for the last couple of years. I turned 30 in like a month, so not that old, but I'm getting there, and I'm feeling different, and I feel like as an artist, like as you get older, you're like the clock's ticking, you know what I'm saying? Not that really matters, or that but
that idea will always be in your mind when you click over another decade. Like I turned 43 last month, and it's always going to be on your mind, but you don't really think of time as such a linear path anymore. The older you get, it's more about enjoying life, creating experiences, creating memories, and leaving footprints. So things like that is like challenging yourself to make music. It's quite a hard thing. It's like really emotionally taxing that people don't understand. You go through a lot of emotional up and downs, whether it's doubting yourself, whether it's just, figuring out like you maybe want to just give up, maybe this isn't for you. There's a lot of emotional hurdles that you gotta jump through. I find it quite hard to make music if I'm sad, if I'm upset about something. It's quite hard for me to make music.
Get out of that kind of mindset.
That's when someone else, like the universe, will just align someone else in your life to just push you forward, get over that hurdle, and but you just have to remain focused, but be aware and acknowledge that you do go through emotional ups and downs. Whether it's applying anything really in life, but with music in particular, it's emotionally taxing for sure.
It's I've had that kind of stuff where I've had moments where, like you're saying, it's up and down, and I think I've tried to incorporate that kind of into my music, like to a degree where it's like not every track I'm releasing is a like club banger type of vibe, or some stuff's like a deep liquidy type of thing that's just but like you try to capture that emotion and put it into it, like, but also keep it into the construct of drum and bass, like,
that's right. Make it listenable and somewhat enjoyable,
interesting. But so this question, I guess, as I'm getting older, I guess, like you're saying, like it changes as you get older. I would say between 25 to 30, it was like all I could think about was how much time do I have to make this work?
You sound like you're dying, mate. It's
dude,
something you're not telling me.
But no, I'm not dying. But I literally just, I don't know, I would think like, I have a certain amount of time or a window to make this work. And I'm over that window now of what I had in my mind. And I think it's been interesting because on the other side of that window, I feel better than I did before, because now I'm like, I feel more of a sense of calm,
less pressure on yourself.
And I'm just enjoying things a lot more, and like I think I'm making better music than ever, and things are going pretty well. But it's just interesting. But even still, I still think about things.
Maybe you think too much about things. Maybe
might be right.
Yeah, I mean, we could like, bog ourselves down just by mentally thinking about something. They say that everything starts with your mind, and everything just overlaps around it. All your physical reality in your realm just overlaps around your thought process. So if you remain positive and happy and like appreciate yourself and what you've achieved, it really helps out, and you don't need to prove it to anyone. Like I think a lot of like ego comes into it as well. Like you'd be like, when it comes to music production in particular, like I can do that. Like I've done that before. Like you need to reassure yourself, and like a little bit of ego helps out with that. Whether it's like, oh, your mate sent you a track, and you're like, inside you're like, oh man, I could do something like this or better than that. Right. Like, so it kind of like drives you. So things like that really help. So whatever it takes, really. And the emotional ups and downs just comes with it. Getting excited about a project, or collabing with someone really helps. I used to find it quite hard working with other people in terms of making music, but you'll find someone who you're in sync with, and appreciates the same kind of styles that you like, and you just learn off each other, and it becomes fun again.
I've been trying to, like, I think for the last 2 years, been trying to push myself to do more collabs, and I've only got, I think, one out, which is with Mannequin, and but I've got a whole bunch now that are in the works with people, and so just really been trying to get out of my comfort zone a bit, and work with other people, and actually have like being in the studio as well with other people's another level to that of being like, oh, shit, like you kind of got to almost perform a little bit, like I got to prove myself.
That's right. That's exactly it. And it's a good thing to go through. You really push the limits, and you get over hurdles, and you get over self doubts and things like this, and being like influencing yourself, or like gassing yourself up to do studio work is quite difficult to do. I actually find the stress of a deadline helps me out
Yeah.
Everyone has their own little.
I think I'm the same.
ways.
Yeah.
I think having a stress or having a deadline in place that I know I've got a target to work towards, that helps me out a lot. I know in the past there's been 2 or 3 instances where I've had to finish a track before I went away somewhere, or that's required for release or for mastering or something.
Yeah.
And I'll just it's not even stressful. It's just almost like you're hyper focused and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and just to get things done, and the stress and everything kind of just fades away. You're more like hyper focused in getting it done for that deadline. That helps me in some cases. So.
Yeah. I think I'm similar. Like, I really enjoy a deadline to a degree, or like if a label messages me and says they want something, then I'm like, it excites me to be like, I'm going to get that done.
That's
for
true.
them.
That's true. And I find maybe we should, producers out there who are struggling with all the above, like, give yourself a deadline. Make yourself, give yourself like 3 weeks or something to finish this off. Maybe in week 1, get all the breaks done, all the melodies and chords and structure down in the second, and in the third week, nail down all the sound effects, all the textures that's required, and mastering it. Having something to play out to people, and it's sending it out to your friends, man. Like, just get positive friends who give you realistic feedback about things, and
that's a big part.
Gasses you up.
We got about maybe 5 minutes left for that recording, but I have been trying to get some questions from people online for guests that I get on. So I've been sending it in like the Sub-Aero community page and stuff. Only a few questions, kind of silly ones.
Bring it on.
I thought,
that's all I get.
I thought it'd be a good one to end on just a silly note.
Yeah.
And after all that deep convo,
some of the answers might be not safe for work. I'm just putting it out there. So
we'll see. But these are anonymous, so I don't know who sent them. But don't worry, they're not too bad or anything. But they're funny. One says, "Why are Diminish and Xsessiv never in the same room together?"
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think that's something I can answer. I heard one's a dick and the other guy is really nice. So it's probably good they're not in the same room together. Yeah.
You ever tried DJing and MCing at the same time?
Yeah,
I've seen
I have
some
actually.
people do that.
I've done that a couple of times in the early days, during the Rise days, about 13, 14 years ago. I was put in a position where I used to DJ for 2.5 hours on Saturday nights at Rise nightclub, which is Air nightclub now. And I would jump on the mic in between mixes and do crowd hype stuff, and got so used to it over a few months. Yeah, it's quite fun to do. It's just
I saw what's his name? Strategy did that recently.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you were there for that.
I was there for that. Yeah, he smashed it. He does really well. Just the nature of mixing fast these days, in terms of doing doubles and lining up 3 tracks at once. It doesn't really give you too much space to roll out lyrics and things like that. You literally have to queue up a track, beat match it, align it, and then while you're spinning a 16 bar, vocal section. But it's just, Anyway.
Another one is, why is every MC's favorite word inside?
It's not my favorite word.
No. What's your favorite word? What do you reckon?
Oh God,
what do you use a lot.
You know what? It used to be, back when I was starting out, it used to be so surgical, and I used to stick to certain words just because I was comfortable with doing it, writing down lyrics and sticking to those lyrics. But these days, I try and disconnect from all that. It's more like a lot of crowd interaction stuff happens. It's funny because going back, we were saying every 5 years there tends to be, with the drum and bass scene, every 5 years there seems to be like a new era or new requirements or a new particular. I'm going to word this. People have new tastes that come in every 5 years, and their expectations kind of roll with that as well. And you kind of have to be dynamic and roll with it. These days, in the last a couple of years, I found that the crowd interaction part is like a really valuable to them. They love it more if you interact with them one on one or almost like a personalized level. You get that connection a lot more. Whereas back in the day,
a lot of people have their heads down, and you have to be really careful with what you say and make sure your voice matches the mood of the track. So you're a lot more aware. These days, people are so reactive. I think it's like the TikTok trend in a way, but it also has its downsides as well, because yes, they're reactive, and yeah, you can do whatever you like with them, and they're just mad for it. But on the polar opposite scale, you have to deal with a very low attention span with a lot of them.
Yeah,
and almost you have to edit your set. Me and Shock One, when we toured around Australia a few times with festivals, quite often what we'd do is literally on the laptop flying between cities is just take out 32 bars, 16 bars, 24 bars here, just get rid of the intros, and literally you have to be dynamic and you have to go with it, because if you mix too long, even I do festivals these days, and the people even in the front row will have 1,400 people in the crowd, and you'll see people start to disconnect if it goes for too long.
Yeah, right.
And
it's so wild, hey.
It's crazy, man. It used to be so frustrating, but you kind of have to just roll with the punches and be dynamic. So yeah, like I said, if the track goes for longer than a minute, you'll get people in the front row, and they don't mean it. It's not out of spite, but they'll turn around and talk to their friends and just disconnect, and you can see it in their face, man. Whereas back in the day, man, not to sound like some old guy like Abe Simpson complaining about old days, but back 25 to 20 years, even 15 years ago, you could roll out a song for 6-7 minutes, and that's just normal before it mixes in something out. Now you've got about 24 seconds, after the 16 bars done, and something else is not new, and wowing them and entertaining them in some way, or have some sort of impact. If you let it run for too long, you lose the interest of the people. It's detrimental. It's horrible.
TikTok for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Last question, and
Go for
I
it.
saved it for last because it's funny, and I have no idea what it means. But this one comes from Harrison.
Great.
And he says, where do you keep your Italian salad dressing?
In my pocket, Harrison.
What are you
Where's the
talking
camera?
about?
Is it Harrison? In my pocket is where I keep the sauce. Yeah, that's
What's that
a
all
bit
about?
of a tour story happened then. Harrison's fun to tour with. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, we've done a couple of cities together. Up north, we've done Broome, Exmouth, Karratha, and a few places, and it's been mad. Things happen on tour which you can't really necessarily explain during an interview. It doesn't have the same pizzazz.
Okay.
But essentially, I did end up with some salad dressing packets in my pocket that did end up bursting.
Oh, shit.
I did, run away from a table full of people having dinner, straight to the bathroom, and I don't know what they were thinking, but I was literally just washing my pocket. All this sauce has come. Harrison, I can't believe you brought this up. I can't believe this has to be edited out. I'm just going to go with yes in my pocket.
All right.
Thanks, Flash
amazing.
Cult.
Yeah.
Cheers for that,
lad.
Yeah, nice one, lad.
He's great. We caught up with him last night as well.
I love Harrison.
He's funny.
Man. He's so great. Yeah.
Well,
we started a track together as well, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's coming along well.
Okay.
So Harrison, come over. We'll finish the track. We'll smash it out.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Well, this has been fun, man. Some cool topics.
I could do another half an hour quite easily.
Right?
Yeah.
I need to get a better SD card for that because I can only do max 2 hours. But I could personally with a lot of these conferences, I feel like I could do 3 to 4 hours. But it's just it's fun to just sit down and chat shit.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me, man. This is great opportunity. And thanks for everyone for listening to all my rambling.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Peace out to everyone. We'll have this out soon.
Sounds good, man. Cheers.